In the opening scene of My Sweet Mobsters Episode 6, Eunha and Ji-hwan are apprehensive about their previous encounter when they wake up. When they cross paths outside the bedroom door, Eunha acts as though she doesn't recall kissing Ji-hwan, but she becomes agitated when Ji-hwan warns her to watch out for unpleasant things to do the next time she drinks. She goes outside to vent because she believes Ji-hwan is referring to her kissing him as a bad experience. She goes to retrieve a time capsule she and Hyun-woo buried in the garden. When Hyun-woo calls and asks her out the next day, she stops. A reporter invites Yina to sample one of the sausages later on during the product introduction so they may snap pictures of it. Yina takes a mouthful even though it turns out she is allergic to meat. When Ji-hwan sees her response, she halts the launch and leads her out of the space. The group had intended to skip Eunha's tutoring session later that evening, but they all show up after she texts them to threaten to report them to Ji-hwan. Jae-soo and Man-ho embellished the events of the product launch, claiming that Ji-hwan took Yina home after giving her a strong hug when she became ill. Eunha is saddened by the narrative, but she doesn't show it and continues with the tutoring session. When Ji-hwan gets home from the tutoring session, he hears Jae-soo asking Eunha to sum up Ji-hwan in 4 syllables over their loud fights. He has what she calls gangster shoulders. Ji-hwan complains in bed because he believes Eunha refers to her as a double gangster. After the tutoring session, he exits the building and sees Eunha returning to her room. When Eunha refers to Ji-hwan as having gangster shoulders, she realizes that she is the reason of his attitude toward her. She starts laughing out loud and begs Ji-hwan to look up the word on Google. As it happens, the term is meant to be complimenting. It implies that a man with wide shoulders is more appealing than one with a good-looking face. The next morning, Ji-hwan can't stop thinking about Eunha's compliment, so he gets up to work just on his shoulders. The other members, meanwhile, begin to criticize Ji-hwan and Eunha's relationship and question whether they ought to start referring to Eunha as their sister-in-law. A second romance between Tu-young and Miho blossoms concurrently. On the weekend that follows, Eunha and Hyun-woo are meeting. When he gets into his car, the seatbelt becomes stuck, so Hyun-woo bends in to assist her. He approaches his face too closely, which unnerves Eunha. She goes so far as to see Ji-hwan berating her in the rear of Hyun-woo's automobile with his irate gaze. Back at the house, Ji-hwan anxiously awaits her return and considers giving Eunha a curfew until 6 o'clock in the evening. Hyun-woo had intended to take Eun-woo out to dinner, but things were not going as well as he had imagined. He brings her to many hotels, all of which are closed for business, renovations, or personal reasons. In the end, Eunha chooses an unassuming rural guest house where they serve sweet potatoes and ramen. Eunha is reminded of her childhood friend when Hyun-woo divides one of the sweet potatoes in half and gives her the larger half. Eunha therefore wants to make sure he is her childhood buddy, but Chi-fo's call cuts them off in the middle of their exchange. Yoon-taek's sister and grandmother are reported missing to Chi-fo, who promptly goes to their home to look into it and brings Eunha along. Chi-fo notifies Hyun-woo of this. They confirm that the girls are missing, and it appears that they departed without much notice. Eunha phones Ji-hwan on the way back because she thinks he might be aware of the disappearance. After realizing she is with someone, Ji-hwan confesses to being with Hyun-woo. He tells her to rush home and declines to give her the facts over the phone. Ji-hwan is summoned by Hyun-woo to a meeting regarding Eunha's disappearance. Hyun-woo continues to be hostile toward Ji-hwan during the meeting. He brings up the event from 10 years ago and claims to be a witness in the case. Subsequently, Ji-hwan and Eunha cross paths outside the residence, and he inquires about Hyun-woo from her. He wonders if she thought he had hurt the girl and her grandma, or if she was just worried about them and hurried to call him. In addition, he points out that she arrived home in a cab and inquires as to whether she is hesitant to inform Hyun-woo that they are living together because he is a prosecutor and